aggressive about it. Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, guys. First things first, make sure you smash up the like, subscribe if you're new, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments. And yes, we're still in the midst of the international break, but we're going to be discussing in today's video whether Chelsea can compete for the title. Can we do better than last season? Can we get to February, March, contend for a little bit longer? We're sitting 6 points off the top after the first 11 games, and we're in a reasonably good position. But to discuss that, all things Chelsea, delighted to be joined by Alexis once again. Bro, good to catch up. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's been a decent little run, even though it felt like Maresca had to win, otherwise we are going to have a nasty 2 weeks where everyone was calling for his head. So apologies.
Yeah, bro. You never. I tell you what, you never want to lose the game before the break, because you say otherwise, you spend the 2 week break talking about the manager, whether he should stay or go. I mean, how have you how do you look at the start to this season? Because the 11 games, we're 6 points off the top. That on surface level doesn't look that bad, but when you look at the fixtures we've had and the disappointing points that we've dropped, are you pleased with the position that we're in, or are you disappointed that we're not in a better position, or a bit of both?
I feel like we're right where we should be, considering Palmer's not been playing and considering Levi Colwell's been out. I feel like it's a good season so far. I think I might be in a minority by saying that. I think overall, we're scoring goals. We've got the second best attack in the league, even though a lot of people say we're boring. Maybe we're boring on the eye, but we're scoring goals. Defensively, I think we've got the seventh best, but if the teams above us concede one goal, all of a sudden we can go up to third best. So from that standpoint, statistically, we look good. And I also think we're winning big games. We beat Spurs, we beat Liverpool. Like, we lost to United with a red card. If Sanchez doesn't get sent off, I think we go on and win that game that day, because even with 10 men, we were the better team. Like, it's funny to say that. But all in all, like, there are moments I'm disappointed. Brighton at home, I think stupid mistake made him. Like, first half of that game was bloody amazing.
Yeah, we dominated.
You know, like chance after chance. I thought the Wolves' performance was really good. I know I'm in a minority. We could get into that, by the way. I know we disagreed on the timeline.
Oh yeah, of course, bro. Yeah.
Because I think that would be like, it's a controversial topic, but I thought we were very good that whole game as a chunk. Overall, I'm really happy with the season so far. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, bro, I hear you on that. I'm pleased with where we're at. And look, it's important not to look back and to look forward. There are obviously, I do feel we could have been in a better position because but it's our own individual mistakes let us down. In that sense, I feel we should probably have a few more points than we do, and maybe we should be second or even joint top. But I think on reflection, as you point out, no Cole Palmer for pretty much the whole season, and Liam Delap, who, whether you agree or disagree with it, was signed to be the number one striker, as barely kicked a ball. So when you look at that, you're without your two best attacking players. You haven't played with your best centre half to a lot of people, or one of your most important centre halves for the whole season. When you look at it from that perspective, I think we're on track and we're in a very decent position. When you look at how the team's performing, I look at, and Chelsea fans do this a lot, and rival fans will say, "Oh, well, if you've got the best in XYZ positions, why aren't you doing better?" But I look at it and I think in Reece James and Cucurella, for me, I don't think there's a better fullback pairing in the league as a left back and a right back. I don't. I think if you look at Caicedo and Enzo, you've got two of the best midfielders in the Premier League. I don't think that's ridiculous to say. You've got one of the best number 10s in the league in Cole Palmer. Where for me it falls down is the wide areas and the number 9. We haven't got enough proven quality for me.
And the centre backs.
And of course, and centre back, obviously. But like, when you look at wide areas, number 9, and centre backs, we've got players who can get you over the line in terms of winning games. But right now, for me, I don't look at the quality in those positions and feel confident that I can back that over 38 games.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we've got so many positives. The problem is it's not around nine of the positions. You know, like if you have 9 outstanding players, they can carry 2 players that aren't of the level of a title team. But we only have 5 of those. So it's just one of those things where we need to be open and honest. And I'm going to say something that's controversial. I think the manager's overachieving. I genuinely think the tools that he's got at his disposal,
Yeah.
he's overachieving.
But bro, I agree with you on that. And do you know what? I've had a lot of people say when I said in the summer the manager wasn't backed, people were like not understanding what I mean, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, but you spent loads of money and you got loads of players." I'm not arguing that I'm not saying he wasn't backed in the financial sense, but he wasn't backed in the sense that he wasn't given the tools that he needed to take this team onto the next level. The summer
Agreed.
was a big missed opportunity in terms of you win the Club World Cup, you sort of put yourself on the map, and you've got a chance then to be like, right, bang, goalkeeper, bang, centre half, and whatever else. Let's show that we're serious. Let's show that we've pushed on, and let's show that we can be a serious contender. We didn't do that. We decided to sign players who lack experience and players that might be good in a few years. And that's where the frustration comes from, is that you had an opportunity there where you could have taken an advantage and made yourself serious teams and serious contenders, but you chose not to take it. And I agree with you. I think the manager, given the fact two of his main attackers have missed pretty much the whole season, and he wasn't backed with the required quality in key areas, I think he's doing very well. And I think the criticism directed at him, fair for Brighton and Man United, because he admitted himself he managed the situations poorly when we went down to 10. He admitted that himself. That was on him. But the rest of the games I look at, bro, individual mistakes being made, I can't put that on a manager. I haven't looked at a game and gone, other than the 10 men situations, I haven't looked at any of the other games and gone, the manager was shocking today.
Yeah, well, think about it, right? We dropped points against Palace, 0-0. Some would say no preseason. What do you expect? And then we went on, we won the next 2. Or Fulham and West Ham in a different order. Yeah, happy days. We had a game against, I think, Brentford. And the problem with the Brentford game is, if the ref called the right decision, we get 3 points on that day. Because Otara, I think it was his name, he was in an offside position and interfering with play. And if
there's
the
also
consistency...
the fact, there's that, but also, if we just defended a long throw-in properly, then we're taking 3 points.
And all of a sudden, everyone's like, we're 4 points off the title, just off that game. You know? So I just think we've got a good manager. And I think what's happened is we've been so scarred under Blueco that we don't know that when we have something good going on. Like, people are asking for Iraola, people are asking for Glasner, people are asking for names that I can't believe what they're asking for. People are asking for Liam Rosenior, Cesc. These managers don't have 50% win rates.
No.
And you know, like,
but I was going to say, bro, those managers, right? For me, I'm of the opinion that it doesn't matter what manager you've got. If you put a manager in with the same squad and the same tools right now, I'm not thinking that a Cesc or an Iraola or a Glasner or whatever, if you put them into the exact same situation, would have us in a better position than we're in right now. This is what people don't understand, is that if Maresca had all the tools, a top-class goalkeeper, a top-class centre-back, a bagsman at number 9, and he wasn't performing well, that's a different conversation. But we haven't got those. So I think with what he's got, he's doing a very good job.
I also think it's very hard to judge him at the moment, purely based on the fact, let's just get to 19 games. And this is where we will analyze this team properly. At the end of 19 games, we can sit down and say, all right, are we better than we were last year? Last year, we got 35 points at the halfway mark. And then we went and got 34. If we can get in and around, like at the moment, we got 20, right? And I think there's 8 games left. So there's 24 points to play for. Yeah. We've got 24 points to play for. We have to beat Burnley. Like, you beat Burnley, and then Arsenal becomes massive under the lights at the bridge. It's gonna be rocking, like, and the occasion will be massive. You know, it will be a defining week of where we are, and I'm actually so excited because I can't lie to you, right? This is why I'm partially a football fan. I love waking up in the morning and just thinking about the game that's coming up. I
Of
can't
course,
like
yeah,
it's positive. It's not, oh no, Chelsea are playing. It's
yeah.
we're gonna
But
close the gap.
but I
And
think that
it's hope.
but I think that feel good factor is back around the place. Like I think like a lot of fans are going to games or watching games now with a sense of hope and a sense of optimism and a sense of positivity that hasn't necessarily been there over the past few seasons, which I think the manager deserves credit for. I mean, bro, when you look at this team, right? What would you like about it and what don't you like about it? Because for me, I think we've proven that on any given day we can beat any team. But the frustrating thing with me is that the inconsistencies aren't showing any sign of disappearing. That's what's annoying me the most is
Are
that
they not?
I don't think so, bro. Because let's be honest, right? You might disagree with me, right? Would you be
Well,
at all surprised if we didn't beat Burnley, but then we beat Barcelona and Arsenal?
I kind of think that's gonna happen. Like
Yeah, but
purely
that's my point, though. Like maybe phrase it slightly differently. Do you think we've got a mentality slash motivation issue against the smaller sides?
I think we're just not. Do you know what? I think we're a top four side.
Yeah,
And this is what a top four side is. And you can't be a league to be consistent to the level of that we want Chelsea to be. You need not an experienced side. You need world class players. I don't care how old they are. They just need to be elite. Esteban's proven it, right? Steve's
yeah,
absolutely coming on and playing, and everyone's like, "Oh, bloody hell, he's great." Guess what? He's 18, and Palmer broke through and was class. Guess what? It was his first season playing consistent football. So I don't like the whole argument about experience because I think it's a lazy narrative
I
because
agree.
it's not true. It's not true. Like Caicedo was class for us after 2 months
Yeah,
and he was young. So like
but
we
this is it
can't.
though, bro, as well. Because with the experience thing, you've got Reece James 25, you've got Cucurella 27, Euros winner, experienced
We
player. Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo are experienced players in their own right, but they're
we
also
lack
very good.
quality.
Yeah,
We
quality
lack
exactly.
every time we drop points, right? It's because we have players that are not of the level of top four making mistakes. Think
Yeah,
about it. People love Trev. Trev's a good player. You know, he's
he's
good.
dependable. Yeah,
He's dependable. The more you see of him, the more you realize why this kid is not going to be world class or this man is not going to be world class. He's 25, 26. He makes mistakes. Tosin looks like he's caving under the pressure
looks
because
awful.
all of a sudden, yeah. And I said this the other day. Once a month, I can deal with Tosin, have a good game from him, not see him. When I start seeing him on a weekly basis, you realize why he was at Fulham for how long he was.
Yeah,
And that's the problem. Do you know what? I'm going to say something. I can't. One of the reasons why we're actually good this year is because our keeper's actually playing like a Chelsea level keeper at the moment.
bro, he's got
I
much
don't have.
better.
I don't need to talk about him.
But I think
He's
this is
just
the first
dependable.
time. Yeah, I think the first time since this for me, right, is the first time since he's been at the club where I've actually not been overly concerned about him. I still have my issues with him. I
Yeah,
still think ultimately
Jesus.
he's not good enough to get to the level required. But this season, red card aside against Man United, he hasn't been an issue for us. He's been
Agreed.
solid and he's been dependable and he's not been a problem. But obviously, to get to where we want to get to, I think we all know that there needs to be an upgrade. But when you've been very critical of someone, you've also got to praise them and give them credit when they've done well. And he has shown
Agreed.
signs of improvement, and he has done better. So I'm more than happy to admit that, and I'm happy about that. By the way, I don't want this guy to keep making mistakes. I don't want this guy to be shit because he's
No,
playing
no.
as the number one keeper for Chelsea. And whilst he's still doing that, I need him to be as good as possible. So any improvements that he's making are an absolute bonus. I mean, when you look at the attack, for example, I think a lot of emphasis is put on attacks in the league. I think you look across the league in general at the attacks of the top sides. I don't think there's any outstanding attacks. I
Can
don't
I be
think
honest?
there
No
is.
one's for it, and it's because of the way the premise. If you look at it, right, everyone's playing very much physical game. it's really tight, and then we're going to break on you. We're going to wait for you to lose the ball in a transition, and we're going to counter attack. The only person scoring consistent goals is Haaland.
Yeah.
And Joao Pedro's getting cooked. He's got 4 goals and 3 assists in the league. And he's high up in the charts. Like that is the issue right now. I just don't think it's a high scoring league. So we're being like super critical because we're holding our players to standards that they're just not of, and they aren't realistic. I call it the Ronaldo and Messi effect. They've normalized getting 1 goal a game to the point where we think it's normal. But in reality, a good winger gets you 1 in 3.
Yeah. And this is why, like, when you're looking, we shouldn't be comparing Joao Pedro or the Lap to Haaland's numbers. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's a complete waste of time. It's no point. Look at what they're doing up against maybe a Sesko or an Embuemo or these kind of guys or whatever it is, Voltemada or whoever.
Charlie, 12 goals. I want Joao Pedro to give me 12 league goals this year.
Yeah.
Supplement that with Palmer, Garnacho, Steve, and Neto.
Yeah.
Combined, give me 50. And I'll be happy.
And this is the thing, right? And it's a good point. Like, do you think we've got the players in the wide areas to get, say, outside of Palmer and maybe Joao Pedro, do we think we can get from Steve, Neto, Garnacho, Gittins, and Delap, those 5 players? Do you think we've got the quality to get 50 league goals from them?
But you don't need 50 from them. Because if you think about it,
do you think they're good enough to get 10 between them? Like 10 each, for example?
No chance, because they're not going to have the minutes. They're not going to have the minutes. And that's the thing, right? People want 10 is a great... this is what I think people forget. If a player plays 30 games and scores 10 goals, he's getting 1 in 3.
That's okay.
That's a great return from the wing. Like, not
from
many.
Wing,
yeah, especially when you're not taking penalties. Non-penalty returns for strikers is like 15, 16.
Yeah.
As a good return. So what we need is just a little bit of consistency, and Enzo and Caicedo to chip in, Cucurella and Reece to chip in, keep scoring goals from set pieces. Honestly, I'm not worried about us scoring goals. Like, even the Wolves game, right? The fans booed the team off at halftime, right? And I was annoyed at that, purely based on the fact that I thought the first half an hour was some of the best football we played in the weeks. But then they took their foot off the gas, which happened. Like, I don't think anyone can point me to a single performance this year where a team for 90 minutes was full throttle in the Prem, even against the worst teams. Like, this Wolves team beat drew with Spurs. So for me, it was like, I saw so many chances. I was like, we're going to get the goal. And if we don't, it's just one of those days when we're not going to score.
Yeah, bro, I hear that. I think for me, I didn't necessarily agree with it, but I understood it to a certain extent. I agree with you. First half an hour, I thought we were exceptional, and we probably should have been a couple of goals up. I think the issue came from the fact that when we then dropped off for that sort of last kind of 15 minutes of the half and kind of reverted back to, the sideways kind of backwards, low intensity play, which frustrates a large section of fans, which it does. And I think because we've seen so many games like this before against similar level opposition, I guess there's a worry creeps in about, this is going to happen again. So whilst I don't agree with the booing at halftime because we weren't losing, I understood it from a point of view where we stopped being relentless. We dropped off, went to the sideways backwards stuff that fans don't like. And we've kind of seen this pattern against similar level of opposition on a number of occasions. That's where I think it comes from. I don't think it comes from as much that first half performance in general. I think 15-minute chunk, but then I think other factors perhaps contributed to that. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it, but I think perhaps that's where it comes from.
No, for me, it's just like the home support's meant to be a place where they feel safe, and because we've got great fans when we're winning. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
even
of
exact.
course.
Big games under the lights.
It's great.
Like, I know our fans are top tier, especially, those big games like the Liverpools, the
Yeah.
Spurses, the Arsenal. They're up for it. We're up. Everyone's up for it. The players are up for it. It's just the issue is this is a young team,
Yeah.
and the last thing they need is they're playing well, and then half time people get on their back because with this team, right? They go in their shell. When in those little games when things aren't going well, they go into their shell more
Yeah.
than anything, and they almost caught in two minds. Like, do we do what the gaffer tells us, or do we try cheer the fans up by going a little bit more direct?
Yeah, it's
So for
difficult.
me, it's like it's so confusing. Like, but honestly, I'm so happy with. Maybe I'm too positive, and maybe like the 5 wins out of 6 in the league is just like blinding me. But I feel like we're in for a decent run, man. Like,
Bro, it's weird, right? Because when you look at our form, we've done very well. It is like, 6 wins out of the last 7 or whatever it is, right? That's very good. But then and that's like positive, and that should be like in a good position. But then you almost feel like it doesn't feel like the fan base is entirely united in that
because they don't,
positivity.
because they do not like Enzo, and I think
Yeah,
this
I would
this is
agree.
this is the problem we have, and I think it's uncomfortable to say it, but it's the truth. No matter what this guy does for us, the minute results start going negative, people are gonna hate the football, and
And
it's
it's
because
always
we're
his
not.
fault.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's always the manager's fault, right? It's never the player's fault or whatever. With these Maresca guys that don't like him, they made their mind up. As soon as you lose a game or you drop points, automatically manager's fault. Even if players have made individual mistakes, we've got red cards or we've done X, Y, Z or whatever, manager's fault every time because people are agenda driven, and that's a big problem in itself.
Like, reflecting, remember the Brighton game?
Yeah,
Brighton's a good side in my eyes, right? I
yeah,
think on
decent
any
side.
day
Yeah,
they can rock up anywhere and beat anyone. Like, in the league, they can literally rock up and play you off the ground. However, for 45 minutes, we should have been out of sight.
agreed. Yeah,
Genuinely, we were amazing on that day. Like, chances, we limited them, and then a mistake happened. And at the end of the game, rather than saying Santos messed up, young kid, Chalobah made a stupid decision, should have let him go. The narrative is Enzo can't manage games with 10 men. Name me a manager that can manage games with 10 men consistently well. Like, there's a reason you're down the man. Like, what do you expect him to do? If anything, I thought we were good until we conceded the first goal. So,
yeah. It's tricky. Like, I feel that the subs were negative. I get it. You're gonna go. You're gonna obviously an attacker's gonna come off, and you're gonna go a bit more defensive because that's what you do when you're down to 10. You tighten up a little bit. But yeah, I think it's hard because there's a frustration from a fan point in that moment where you're like, why are we've lost a player, right? But why are we? There's still going to be spaces there because Brighton are going to throw more men forward, and there's going to be an opportunity to counter attack because they're going to go for it more. They're a man advantage. Let's leave, an attacker on there. Let's leave a few players. I do get it. I think he's learned from that. He's acknowledged himself that he maybe needs to do better in those situations. I'm not saying it's easy to get it right all the time, but I think he's acknowledged that he's maybe made some mistakes in what he's done. And as long as he learns from that, I haven't got a problem necessarily with it. I think a lot of people forget as well, this is Maresca's 3rd season as a top flight manager. He's been 1 season at Leicester, last season with us, and now into his 2nd season with us. I don't think people understand how inexperienced he is. And like whether you like it or not, he's going to make mistakes. And like some of these players, he's also learning on the job. When you've got players learning on the job at a big club and you've got a manager learning on the job at a big club, whether you like it or not, by design, by making those decisions, you are going to have the inconsistencies that we're having. And you just have to hope that this manager will progress and that these players will progress. And then those inconsistencies become ironed out and they get fewer and fewer. But when you look at the team, bro, and you see what we did last season, right, in terms of we were up there with Liverpool until sort of December, January time. What do you think this team's capable of? I know we're like middle of November now, but what do you feel we're capable of? Do you think we can put ourselves in the title picture maybe until February, March time? I mean, what do you think's possible with this team?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really like boring. Honestly, I just want to beat Burnley, beat Arsenal, and then see our next run of games. Because after that, right, we'll know after Christmas. Like, let's get through that run in. And I'm getting the fixtures up now. 1 second, right? The next 5, we've got Burnley away. Hopefully we win. Arsenal, Leeds away, Bournemouth and Everton at home. If you give me 4 wins, 1 loss, I'll be so happy. I'll take that.
I think 12 from 16's got to be the aim.
12 to 16. You mean like, yeah.
12 points from the 16 available in the next 4. I think that's got to be the aim. So from Arsenal, Burnley, Bournemouth, and Leeds, that's 16 points. No, so that's 12 points available. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you need at least 8 or 9 points from that 12.
The thing is, if we win the games we should and draw against Arsenal, that's 10 points in 12, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a good. That genuinely will.
But where the issue comes is that a draw against Arsenal is not a bad result, and I would probably take that. But it becomes a bad result if you don't beat Leeds or you don't beat a Burnley, for example. So if you don't beat Burnley or Leeds, that's where the issue is. So a point in isolation against Arsenal is not bad, but a point is only good in the context of wins against Burnley and Leeds, if you get what I'm saying.
And do you know what's going to trigger people? And we're in such a limbo as a fan base. We beat Liverpool, and then we go and lose to Sunderland.
Yeah.
And then we beat Spurs. And then people start going, well, if we beat Sunderland, we'd be this many points off the top. Because our mentality is we should be in a title race. Because we're Chelsea. So I get you. Like, I would not be shocked if we beat, like what you said. Imagine we beat Burnley, beat Arsenal, and then Leeds away, we lose. You know, and then the fan base will go into meltdown again. And that's the annoying thing. Like, I saw the other day on Chelsea Fan TV, there was a TikTok that went viral. I don't know what the kid's name is. Like, and he went and said, where are the standards? What are we said? And I was like, we're absolutely cooked. Because when we're losing, everyone's shouting standards. When we're winning, everyone's shouting standard. And I don't even blame the kid.
The standards thing is like, this is what people don't understand about the standards thing, right? The standards at Chelsea are always to compete for and try and win everything you're in, right? But people get confused with not being in a position to reach those standards as you lowering the standards. The standards haven't been lowered. We're not in a position right now to hit the standards that have been set at the football club by previous teams and managers. We are not good enough to hit those standards right now. And that's where the disconnect comes, is that people think that because we're not in a position to reach those standards, therefore people are lowering the standards. No, the standards aren't being lowered. There's just a realization and an acceptance that right now, Chelsea, in its current form, are not ready or good enough to hit the standards that have been set previously. That's all it is.
It's literally that. I think, and it will heavily depend. By the way, you said, do you think we can compete for a title? These 3 things need to happen, right? Fofana needs to stay fit.
Yeah.
That's a must. Like, I don't think that's so Fofana needs to play 1 game a week. I don't even want him thinking about the Champions League. I just want you in the Prem games.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer needs to come back and play like Player of the Year Cole Palmer. Basically, the one that we saw first 6 months of Enzo and the 12 months of. And the final one, Estevao needs to start, and he needs to basically play like a wonder kid. Do you understand? I think if those 3 things happen, you can start saying title race. But they're big things.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the difference, isn't it?
I think the problem is, right, I think this is why rival fans get annoyed when, like, if you like, they'll ask Chelsea fans, like, what do you think this team's capable of? But I think the reality is that we genuinely don't know. And that's the problem, because we're more than capable of beating Barcelona's, beating Arsenal's and whatnot. But we also know full well that we're capable of losing to Burnley's, Leeds, Sunderland's and whatnot. I actually don't know what this team is capable of. I know this team can beat any team on any given day, but over 38 games, I'm not sure what this team is capable of doing. And that's the reality. I don't think we know what we're capable of, because there's too many unknowns within the side in terms of players.
Yeah, and like some people, what I'm seeing right now is, and I feel like we're setting ourselves for a downfall. People are like, oh, Garnacho's class, like, and this expectation on Garnacho is rising. People are like, oh, he should be a starter after that Wolves performance. And I'm worried, man.
And now if he doesn't hit that performance level against that he showed from Wolves in subsequent games, people are then going to be like, oh, Garnacho's shit. This is the problem. People see one performance from a player and then they expect that performance level every single game. And then when that player doesn't deliver that, they then say XYZ player is shit. Like, it doesn't work like that.
I'm hearing now we should have never got rid of Jackson because Delap's shit.
Delap's not shit. Bro, Delap's not shit. Bro. The problem with Delap is that he shouldn't be in the position where he is first choice number 9 at Chelsea at this stage of his career. That's the issue, is because for me, Delap is a rotation piece, but he's going to be judged now to a first team starting standard because he's the first choice 9. Because of the first choice 9, but he shouldn't be starting. So that's
but
where
I don't think he will be started. You know what I think happens? I think the minute Palmer's back, Joao Pedro is going back to up top, and we're doing the whole Club World Cup thing again.
Yeah, and maybe that's a better thing. But yeah, it's tricky because players that should be rotation pieces are starting a lot of games, and they're then being held to starting quality standard when we know that they're not of that required quality, if that makes sense. But I mean, look, I think this team is capable of going to February, March and being within 6 points of the top of the table. But it's also capable of a situation last season where we could fall off a cliff for a few weeks and then we're scrambling towards the end of the season to try and salvage something. I don't think there's really going to be much of an in-between. And that's what kind of makes it exciting. You're sort of both excited for it and dreading it. You're almost like, well, I'm really excited to see what we can do. But then a small part of me is worried, like, shit, how bad could it potentially get? But I guess we'll find out. But
we'll find out, man.
We'll find out. But bro, always a pleasure to catch up. Mate, let them know where they can find you. People should know, but let them know.
Guys, it's the Gafgazi. If you want daily content, basically, this is the place to go. 15 minutes, come get your Chelsea fix and keep it stepping. Honestly, you'd be silly not to subscribe. Hopefully, Charlie, will you put it in the title so it's easy for them?
Bro, I'll do that new YouTube collab thing, which does some weird linking thing. We'll get that going. It'll be in the title, but we'll sort all that out, guys. Make sure you go and subscribe. Loads of great content over there. Hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you lot again in another one soon.